All right, let's count us down. The rapid fire questions are called quick fire 5 questions, just so you know. Okay.
Okay.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2. It is time for our quick fire 5 questions with next week's guest, Ryan SNAADT. He is the owner of SNAADT Media Group. Ryan, welcome to Quick Fire 5.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, I am so excited. Are you ready for your fun questions so everybody gets to know you?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, first one. What is a life lesson you learned from the pandemic?
One of my biggest life lessons I learned during the pandemic was to appreciate what you have. I think a lot of people took a lot for granted up until 2020, myself included. And it just comes down to appreciating what you have. If you have your health, if you have your business, if you have an opportunity to help people or be supportive, I think that was a really big lesson. Also, that because I did end up getting COVID, but I obviously got over it and better now. But Cheetos have the texture of packing peanuts when you can't taste or smell them. So that's another thing I learned during the pandemic.
I like that one. That's my favorite thing right there. Cheetos taste like packaging peanuts. Love it. All right, here we go. If you could play a character in any movie, what character would it be?
Oh gosh, I am such a huge movie buff. This question's really hard. Used to really love watching action movies all the time as a kid. So in that vein, I would probably say probably Bruce Willis from Die Hard. That's like just a classic like hero guy. He's trying to save himself, his family, his career, and he's trying to stop the dude that plays Severus Snape from being a bad guy. It's pretty cool. So I would have to say Die Hard, Bruce Willis.
And please complete this sentence. Sunday morning, you can find me
at either the dog park or the gym. That's where I usually hang out on Sunday mornings.
All right. And what is your number one book recommendation for all of our FBP family?
Oh, great question. My goal was to read a book every month this year. So I've read a lot this year of business and personal finance books. I would say best one for a business owner, somebody in this space, would probably be Profit First. Great read just on how to structure your finances as a business, how to pay your profit and save for taxes and all that boring stuff, but very important stuff.
Okay. And finally, here is your chance. This is your big elevator pitch, telling all of our listeners out there why they should come back next week to hear your episode.
Absolutely. So we're going to really get into this here in a bit. I think this is a huge topic people need to be thinking about. Video marketing for gym owners, fitness businesses, super important stuff. I'm going to be covering the 5 must-have videos that you need for your fitness business. Also, how to stand out with video, how to structure your videos for conversion, and how to avoid wasting time on the videos that don't matter for your business, and how to get the most out of what you have to actually get sales and see an ROI with what you're posting out there.
All right, everybody, you heard it right from Ryan SNAADT, the owner of SNAADT Media Group. Come on back next week when we talk about videos and marketing. All right, hey, that was good. That was great. Dog park, that's a first one. I haven't had that one. That one's good. I like that one.
Yep. My dogs know on the weekends, they'll just sit there and stare at me like, are we going to go to the dog park or not, or what?
I thought for sure you were going some type of comic book Marvel character. You're like that age, like
sure. Everyone I know is like, all my buddies are really into the DC Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
I'll watch the movies, but I grew up watching pretty much every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie imaginable when I was a kid, like every action, like all his stupid one-liners. And so I was close to saying Arnold Schwarzenegger too. But
no, those are good. Those are really good. Cause I get a lot of the I don't know, superheroes. I don't know if they're Marvel characters, whatever it may be. So it was, sure. I love when somebody gives something different. I had a girl the other day. What did she give an 80s movie character? I was like, oh my God, it was so good. And now I can't remember off the top of my head, but all right. Well, I'm going to keep things moving because I know your time is precious, and we're going to get started. This is the meat of our interview. So we're going to go, about 20 minutes, and then we'll pause. So it is 5:20. So somewhere around 5:40. If you have a clock there, just keep an eye on it. And then we'll pause, and then we have 2 more small segments that we'll talk about once we get to those.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. The very last segment is when I'm going to have you talk a little bit about the 6-figure thing that you're starting. Okay.
Okay,
We'll put
sure.
that in our last segment. All
Sure,
right.
sounds good.
Okay, here we go. Let me count us down in 3, 2. It is time for another episode of the Fitness Business Podcast. And today's guest is Ryan SNAADT. He is the owner of SNAADT Media Group. Ryan, welcome to the Fitness Business Podcast.
Hey, Dori, thanks for having me. Really excited to come on and talk with you today.
Yeah, I mean, you say you're excited, but I think I'm even more excited. I saw you at URSA this year in Dallas, and I was just like blown away by your session. And I'm like, I have to have him come on and be a guest because we need to get you out to everybody listening and hear your information, because you just had a lot of great nuggets that, like I said, I heard you talk about at URSA. So glad our paths crossed.
Absolutely.
So at URSA, I believe your session was basically about like video marketing. Am I right?
Yep. Video marketing and all the different types of videos gyms should be using or shouldn't be using, as I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about today.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about 5 types of videos gym owners should be using. Very important topic right now. Obviously, we all know social media is just on fire these days and such a big part of any business's success.
Absolutely.
All right. So are you ready to tell us the big secret of what the 5 types of videos are?
For sure. Absolutely. So I like to picture it. And for the folks at home that are listening, it's basically like a pyramid. So we remember the old food pyramid from back in grade school days. I'm sure it's changed since that before, but at the bottom, when I was in school, the bottom level was grains, right? Breads, carbs, that type of thing. I'm sure it's changed now, but what I like to picture is these 5 important ones. We start with the bottom, the most foundational ones, and we work our way up. So this is what I suggest for all my clients. Anybody that's thinking about doing videos, they should think about it in this structure. So the very bottom of the pyramid that I like to focus on is called anchor videos. So those are synonymous with an about us video, corporate video, a corporate promo. There's a bunch of different words for it, a video business card, but they're all the same thing. I like to call them anchor videos because they tell people who you are and what you do in about 2 minutes or less. That's basically what an anchor video does. The reason that every business, any gym, any car shop, any online sales, anything, everyone should have one of these because they are really, really good for longevity. You can use the same video for 5+ years. You can recycle all the footage that you've shot in that for other purposes like sales videos, social media posts, those things. So that's really, really important too. And just the fact that it answers every question about as an introductory video to who your company is and why you're different. That's a really, really important thing to focus on. So that's the most important video. If you get anything else out of this entire podcast, just know that anchor videos are extremely important to your business. And if you only have one video made, that's what you should have done. The next step up from the anchor videos are sales videos. So those are sales intent. Somebody's thinking about joining your gym. They just need the extra nudge to get over the hump. Those are really important, obviously, because they get the highest ROI. You spend money on something like that, or you shoot something on your phone or whatever it is, and they make a sale. So you're getting your result there. But the reason why they're not the most important is because they're not applicable to every situation. If you're doing a presentation at a Chamber of Commerce event, having a sales video really doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't apply to everything that it would make sense for. So that's the second level. The next step up on our level here, number 3, is the social proof videos. So these are super, super important in the gym space. I would almost argue these are as important as sales videos for a gym owner, because even before we got on this call, I was just editing testimonials for a gym, and these are going to become adverts. They're going to run on Facebook ads. They're going to use these on their lower funnel website pages for people that want to sign up for a free week trial or whatever it is. So the social proof videos are basically capturing customer experiences and using those as marketing material. So super, super important. I do these almost all the time for all my gym clients just because they make a really, really big impact, because you can tell me about the sauna and the pool and the Pilates classes, but if you bring someone in to talk about how those 3 things have changed their life or made their fitness better, that sells a lot better than talking about, how big the pool is in square footage, so that's the other step up there. So we've talked about those 3 levels. The next step up above this here on number 4 is going to be organic outreach content. So these are pretty much things that you're using to go fishing for attention rather than spear fishing with a sales video where you're attacking and hoping you can catch something and drag it home to the cave. This is more of a fishing approach where you're going to cast a net and try to attract people long-term. So think YouTube videos, podcasts, Google search on your blog, those types of things. Now, the beauty of doing long-form organic content is because you can build an audience over time and collect leads if you're doing, YouTube, podcast, or your blog. I know I use YouTube a lot for my business, and just using that approach, even when I have 12,000 subscribers on my channel, and I get about 15 to 20 leads per day from my YouTube channel because I've structured all my videos in a way that attract people. They opt in through my opt-in channels that I have, and it gets a consistent flow of new leads coming in my business that I can then reach out to about promotional offers and things like that. So even if you're just a local gym, that can be a really, really big thing for people to capture information and stuff like that. The other beauty of that too is you can become the authority in your space. You can start to speak on thought leadership things around fitness, nutrition coaching, intermittent fasting, how to do certain positions for Pilates or yoga or whatever it is that your fitness facility does. So super, super important to build that up if you have the time and effort to put into that. And then at the very tippy top, the least important of all of our things, and the thing ironically that everybody on this call probably was thinking about when they think about video marketing, is micro content. So putting out a video on Facebook or Instagram, wiping your hands and saying, oh man, I did it. I put a video out. And then 3 days later, no one cares. Right. So I really, really encourage everybody that's listening, try to avoid doing that. The beauty of doing all the other levels that we talked about is that you can take micro pieces of every one of those videos, and those become your micro content you can share on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever your audience hangs out. So by doing those more important, more heavy hitting videos that make an impact, you just pull out 30-second clips, little B-roll or the footage with audio taken out with music. And then those are your micro pieces you can share. So those are the 5 most important videos that you should be focusing on as a gym owner. Hopefully I didn't put anybody to sleep.
Absolutely not. So I have a question for you when it comes to I love how you structured it with the pyramid. Which videos can we get away with making homemade, and which videos do you absolutely say, like, listen, you need a professional photographer, professional editor to do the videos?
Sure. That's a great question. Obviously I'm biased as a professional marketer. I think everything should be professional, but getting away with, let's say you're a small shop, you're 1 or 2 person or a small marketing team, I would say you could absolutely do micro pieces by yourself on your phone, TikToks, Instagram reels, stories, especially organic stuff that even performs better just shooting it on your phone. So definitely micro pieces. The other piece I would say would probably be sales videos if you do them in the right way. So you could have hey, I'm Ryan. I'm a personal trainer at ABC, gym down the street. We're doing this promo, blah, blah, blah. Sign up at the link below and we'll see you later. And then you use that as like a push ad for something like that. So that could be more organic, more, easy to share. I would say everything else, you can get away with doing it lower cost or by yourself, but having an anchor video that's really well put together, that's definitely worth it in terms of the amount of times you'll use that video, with everything going on. And then if you have organic content, we're seeing this a lot during the pandemic. If you have organic teaching content, how-to content, an online yoga class or weightlifting, personal training and instruction, if those things are professionally shot, you can then make those pay gated and turn those into an online course or a pay-as-you-go type subscription. So I would say you can do your organic content for, on your phone on the cheap and put out YouTube videos. That's fine. But if you want people to pay for something, it has to have that next level of professionalism for them to feel like it's worth the money they paid. So hopefully that answers the question.
That makes complete sense. So you put the anchor video at the very bottom. You're like, this is the foundation. How long do you recommend the anchor video to be?
Sure. Great question. I would say the sweet spot for me, and I'll actually script these out in my storyboard templates that I use, and I've gotten really good to where they're almost always 2 minutes. It's kind of ironic. It just always, we'll time it out. We'll do a voiceover read. We'll hire a voice actor, whatever, interview the people. It always works out to about 2 minutes. So I would say probably 2 to 5 is good. Anything less than a minute, it's not long enough. Anything longer than 5, people are probably snoozing or going on to the next thing. So 2 to 5 is probably the best route because you can answer those really basic questions: who you are, what you do, and then also the big things in the anchor video are how are you different and why should I care? So if it's, like I said, if you have a pool and a sauna and stuff, okay, those are features. We don't want to focus on features and benefits. It's outcomes. We have all this in-house, so you don't have to have a tanning membership offsite, or you don't have to drive 30 minutes away. The benefits to the customer is what you want to focus on there.
So you took my question literally right out.
Sorry.
No, that's great. I was going to ask you, yeah, like what should be in the anchor video, but you did a great job and you already answered that, made that very clear. So thank you. Now, I've kind of heard this buzz term, and I'm hoping that you can explain it to everybody out there listening. When I say big rock content, explain.
Yes. So big rock content's kind of a buzzy word that's been coming up in the marketing world the last couple of years. It's been really popular, but it was more popularized by Gary Vaynerchuk and putting out all of his content because he uses this for all of his personal channels. So it's basically shooting or recording a long form piece of content. So something like an hour to 2 hour long podcast, a keynote speech, something longer that you're doing that's over 10 minutes. And you're basically taking that motivational, educational, whatever it is, instructional content, and you're taking a big sledgehammer to it and you're breaking it into smaller rocks. So you're taking a big boulder and you're breaking it into little pieces and you're distributing it all over the internet. So a good example would be like a video podcast, where I do some of these for my clients, where they'll do a weekly video podcast. We'll record everything professionally with different multi-camera angles. We rip the audio out. That's your podcast. We do a video of that multi-camera. That's your YouTube video. You transcribe that video, you turn it into a blog on your website. Then you're getting, those three, the podcast, YouTube video, and the blog, those are all, again, on the organic content, the fishing net example we talked about. So those over time are attracting in new leads to your business over time. So that's the first three things. But then, oh, wait, it gets better. You can take 30-second chunks of that from the video that you shot, and those become micro pieces you can share on social media to promote the show, or to promote your keynote speeches, or to promote your sales presentations, or whatever you're doing. So again, say you do a video on, or a podcast or whatever it is on intermittent fasting, there's a really good 30-second chunk you can take. You can use that for a social media teaser, and the circle just goes round and round. So you've essentially shot one video and turned it into 10 pieces of content through your blog, your podcast, your social media links, and all the different stuff we talked about. So,
that's good advice, because I feel as if, and maybe I'm just speaking on my own, social media adventures and trying to figure out what works best, is I tend to do like 10 different little tiny videos, rather than like you're suggesting is no, do one big video and break it into 10 pieces. So I probably waste a lot of time trying to come up with 10 completely different ideas, when it sounds like it could be streamlined and just broken from one video.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's a lot of different thoughts and schools of thought for that. You can do a media day, which I encourage, like most of my clients, I'll script out stuff. We'll shoot 3 long form videos in one day. And then there comes, 30 pieces of content. And now they have a post every day for the rest of the month. So that's kind of a efficient way to do it. Even if you're doing them by yourself, set up your tripod, your lights, that takes 20 minutes. You got to get your breaths feeling good, get your hair looking nice. Like, there's a lot of time that goes into it, especially for beginners. You get a little stressed out. So I definitely encourage you, if you're going to do a video like that, or you're going to put together some content, try to knock out a bunch of it. And then you'll find by the third or fourth time you've shot in that day, those are just rolling really good, because you're kind of in a good flow. You're kind of in the right headspace and you're feeling good about it. So those are some really good things to do about it as well. And then also just the big rock content approach is very strategic, because like you said, it could be, randomly on a Tuesday and you got all this other stuff you want to do. And instead of doing what you're supposed to do, you're like, I'm going to get my phone out and I'm going to make a TikTok today, because that sounds like the best use of my time. And it's not super efficient to do that. So I definitely encourage people to have a production day, or have it on your calendar. Hey, I'm going to make some sales videos today for the gym promos that we're doing for Black Friday, or I'm going to do, just put it on your calendar and then you knock it out. So.
Okay. So you said about, having media day or a production day. Just give me a little bit more information on what that looks like for somebody that's never done a media or production day. Tell me what the script looks like. How many people are involved? How many different people are you interviewing, or are you just taking pictures of the club? What does that look like?
Sure. No, great question. So what I do for my clients, and this is if you were to hire somebody, but I'll start, I guess, with if you're doing it by yourself, because we want to give you guys actionable steps here. So say you're doing a DIY, I would literally script out videos in a Word document of the things you want to cover, maybe 5 bullet points if it's educational content. So I use the intermittent fasting example. I'm going to make 3 videos for my YouTube channel about intermittent fasting, proper barbell back squat form, and how to set up your macronutrition for my personal training clients. And those are all strategic because we're trying to rank those in search in Google. We're trying to rank them in search on YouTube for those topics. And if someone searches those things out, they're probably a good prospect for your personal training business or whatever it is. So we script those out. We would have, I use a free teleprompter app. I think it's called Teleprompter on my phone. And you can literally just type it out so you don't screw anything up, and you just read from the script and it just scrolls down for you, and you just look at the camera and talk. And it's a skill that takes time, but that's one approach you could do it from. Another is what I do with some of my clients. Like I work with a yoga studio here in Des Moines, Kansas City, and Omaha, that they will come in and we'll do multi interviews. So we'll get, again, social proof is really big for this industry. So we'll bring in, a busy mother of 2, or we'll bring in a busy working corporate professional, or we'll bring in somebody who's a teacher, and we'll just ask them basic interview questions, getting those little sound bites that they can then post on social media when they're doing hiring events for more instructors, or they're trying to push to a certain industry or certain time of year. They can use those great sound bites throughout the year. And then you kind of build this library of content from the interviews. So you try and stack them. Since you're going to have the lights set up, you're going to have everything there. You just kind of have everybody meet up. You do a 3 to 4 hour shoot. And then now you've got, again, 30 to 60 days worth of content if you chop it up properly. So really, really strategic way to do it. And I'm like the biggest fan of efficiency. I'm like, I don't want to come back here 6 times this week. If we can do it in one day, let's knock all of it out and just be done with it. And then you can move on with your day. So
can you just tell everybody out there the teleprompter app that you referenced?
Sure. Yeah. It's called Teleprompter. It's a little orange icon with a parrot's logo on it. So you can get a little thing that attaches to the front of a camera if you're using a camera, but that just have your phone sit in there and then it mirrors it and shoots it at you. And it's only like $80 or whatever it is. So super inexpensive for what else is out there, but there's other ones out there as well. You can get free ones, but if you want to go super, super cheap, you can just use your laptop, set your Word document up to your phone, and then just kind of glance at your, bullet points and then riff on them if you're talking about certain things. So if for the macronutrition video, it's like, I want to cover carbs, proteins, and fats. I want to cover calorie deficit. And I want to talk about my personal training offerings. All you have to do is just riff on the carbs for a bit so you forget what you're talking about, pause, look at the notes. Okay. And then you just keep going. So it just depends what you want to do. Like I have a client of mine that I work with that he's a massage therapist for athletes specifically. And we tried doing prompter with him. He just could not do it. He's like, I don't know how you do it, how these news people do it. So I give him 3 things every time. I'm like, okay, we're talking about direction, depth, and duration, go. And he'll just riff on it. And then he's like, what was I talking about? And we'll redirect that way. So it just depends on the person, but it's a skill. You learn the prompter. It's way more efficient. You can get it done way faster, and it kind of works out that way. So
when I was out at Ursa and I was in your session, hung around a little bit after you were done. I saw you had so many people coming up to you, asking you questions. And one of the questions that I felt like I kind of heard that was a little redundant was, which platform should gym owners, marketing directors, boutique owners focus on? Do you have a direct answer for that?
That's a great question. I did. I heard that from the online streamers as well as the people in the room. So very popular question. And my answer to it is, you need to be where your customers are. And that's the point blank short answer of it. If you're a gym focused on high income earning upper middle class women, where do those women spend time online compared to other people? There's all these new emerging platforms with TikTok and Instagram Reels and all these new things that are going on out there. It's really easy to get shiny, bright object syndrome. And I get it too. So I have to kind of put myself in check as well. But I would definitely encourage you to be strategic, figure out, if I could only publish on one platform, where is it going to give me the best pick of people for my business? If I don't work with women, Pinterest might not be a good place to focus my entire business effort. If it's local gyms, it might be Facebook or Instagram. I would say start with Facebook and Instagram is a good place to start. If you can offer national or regional offerings via digital or online coaching or whatever it is, I would definitely encourage you to look at YouTube. YouTube's completely changed my business. It's given me probably 8 different streams of income from just that one channel. And it's allowed me to kind of branch out nationally and get outside of just the state of Iowa where I live now, and got me a lot more national exposure just from being present on YouTube and just the searchability of YouTube, because people can find your videos over time. So I still have videos that I've made 4 or 5 years ago that have hundreds of thousands of views, because every month a couple thousand people watch it every time because they find it through search. So I would say if you're local, Facebook or Instagram to start, and then get strategic with your platform. If you're national, again, Facebook or Instagram to start, but also consider YouTube as a long form strategy.
Now, you mentioned Pinterest when you first started answering that question. We just did a show, or I just did a show on Pinterest, marketing with Pinterest. I was blown away because my persona of Pinterest is you just go on to look at pictures of kitchens, bathrooms,
Yeah.
you know, craft ideas. And the guest just absolutely opened my eyes to this whole marketing that can be done through Pinterest. I was really impressed, really, really impressed.
Yes. And I have the same thing happen with TikTok. I'll talk to people over 35 and they laugh at me when I say that businesses are focused on TikTok, because they only think of their teenagers that are using it. But a lot of people, you know, I'm 27. I have a lot of people in my age bracket. That's all they because it's like people are tired of the other platforms. They're looking for the fresh new thing. And if you're the only trainer on TikTok teaching intermittent fasting and carb deficits and all the different things, like you become the authority immediately. It's like you're the first person on the moon with the flag and you're sticking it in the ground. So really consider that. I know, like I said, I not to contradict myself a second ago, but find where your audience is and see how you can stand out and be different and unique and offer help or support or any kind of value online without trying to directly push anything. So
here's a question that I'm sure you get, but I'm going to say I hear a lot when we do our marketing episodes. And that is a lot of people, a lot of gym owners, marketing directors, boutique owners, they're frustrated because they put these videos, they push these videos out and nobody engages in them. Mm-hmm. What advice do you have to get your followers to engage, to make comments, to like, you know, the video post?
Sure. Great question. I would say if you're posting things and no one's engaging, it's because it's not relevant or helpful or interesting in any way. You're most likely just promoting stuff that's going on at your gym, which is, I mean, if you're going to focus on efforts, those are good to do, but just imagine you're the person that keeps getting the spam emails from the person that just keeps pushing discounts, deals, sales, discounts, deals, sales. You're just unsubscribe after a while or you tune them out, right? So I would definitely encourage you to flip your mindset and post 80% helpful information with no ask, no sales, anything. It's just helpful information or some like motivational content or things that people would actually want to engage in. And then 20% sales, promos, time of year, tangible stuff, open houses, all those types of things. Most people do the adverse of that. They're focusing 80% of their efforts on sales, marketing, promotion, rather than flipping it on its head the other way. So that's what I would encourage you to do. And then try not to use first touch marketing as your hard sale death choke to the, you know, cashier register to pay into the gym. You know, we want to try to foster a relationship with social media. And when someone's first touch with someone is a sales offer, the chances of conversion on that are extremely low, where if you completely dedicate your time to offering help, value, and support for these people, you'll build a loyal following that will support your brand.
And I'm going to ask you one more question, and that is, could you just maybe in 30 seconds to a minute, give us the biggest mistakes gym owners make with videos?
Sure. Biggest mistake is completely focusing on micro content, spending way too much time putting together little videos that will only get 3 days of shelf life. That is probably the biggest mistake. And closely followed by not having a clear strategy. They're kind of just running around trying to stick on, you know, trying to do some TikTok, trying to do some Twitter, trying to do some Instagram. Focus on one platform, get a clear strategy. And even if you're shooting them on your phone, start small, own that strategy, and work up to doing other things and getting bigger and more broad over time.
Okay, Ryan, we're going to end it there. Holy smokes, we were 25 minutes. That was amazing. It
cool.
Flowed. It was so great. Good tempo.
Really. I know we went over by 5 minutes. I'm like, oh no, we're going to.
I know I wasn't going to ask the last question, but I'm like, you know, I'll figure it out, you know, so sure. Awesome. Okay. So here's where we got to go next. I need to ask you a sponsored question, which is going to be, what are your 3 top tips for I need like a 3 top tips. I'm trying to think, what do we want to 3 top tips for?
Where is this going?
So this is kind of just like a little summary. This is kind of, you're just going to be like, all right, first tip, number 1, first tip, number 2. Now, are your titles going to be 5 types of videos gym owners should be using? So maybe something like, what are your 3 top tips for making successful videos? I'm not sure. I just need you to kind of give me like 3 top tips about videos, video marketing.
Sure.
Maybe 3 tips for video marketing.
Sure. I would echo what we just talked about, which is don't focus on videos that will, or avoid focusing on videos that have low result possibility or potential.
Okay.
So focusing on micro content that won't push the needle. That's basically the first thing. Second thing would be having a really clear strategy and platform specific tactics to just focus on that one platform until you own it and win it.
Okay.
That would be the second tip. Third tip would be think bigger than your organic following. That would be a summary of that. So think bigger, more search related. How can we rank these things in Google search, YouTube search, get found on a podcast,
Okay.
find a national, regional audience. Those would be the 3 biggest tips, I guess.
All right. So I'm going to ask you the question and then you're going to take it away. You're going to give the 3 tips. Again, keep it maybe like a minute. It's kind of pretty quick. And then when you're done, just pause. There's no rebuttal or follow-up question with this segment. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. Ryan, what are your 3 top tips for video marketing?
Sure. I would say the top 3 that I have, number 1, don't focus on posting only micro content that's only going to have 3 days of shelf life. Focus on bigger impact videos that are going to get a better ROI, get more engagement, and that you can use more than one time. Second, I would definitely recommend having a very clear marketing strategy with what you're doing. It's really easy to waste time in this space, making fun little videos that don't do anything. So have a really clear strategy and only focus on one given platform to start. That's going to make the biggest impact for your business. And then lastly, I would definitely recommend having just a really clear understanding of thinking bigger than what you're thinking on social media. So what I mean by that is don't think, oh, these videos are just going to go on my Instagram page and that's it. Think bigger. Think, how can I get discovered online via Google search or YouTube search? Or how can people find me on a podcast? Or how can I get media attention for free through the activities that I'm doing with my video marketing?
All right, fantastic. That was perfect, spotless. Okay, now our final segment. It's kind of a wrap up segment, but I want to go back to just promoting you a little bit. And you told me that, tell me a little, you called it 6-figure, you're starting something. Could you just?
Yep. So I'm starting we've launched a new online course for videographers called 6-Figure Fitness Filmmaker.
Okay, hold on.
It's
an online course.
Yep, 6-Figure Fitness Filmmaker.
Fitness filmmaker.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask you that, and
Sure.
then go, promote it a little bit, talk about it. Who does, just think about like, who does it help? Why would they want to sign up for it? Maybe you could just, again, this is probably another minute long segment, but really just try to get as much information in there to sell yourself as you possibly can.
Sure.
Okay. And then also your media group that you own is primarily for fitness, right?
Correct. Yep. So we're a fitness focused video marketing company.
Fitness focused marketing company. Okay. All right, here we go. I'll count us down and we'll get started with our final segment in 3, 2. Ryan, it has absolutely been a sheer pleasure to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I just want to let everybody know that, your company that you own is pretty cool. It's a fitness focused marketing company.
Absolutely. Yeah. So SNAADT Media Group, it's my last name, which is hard to pronounce as we've established here. It's basically, like we said, fitness focused video marketing. I work a lot with fitness brands, gyms, sports teams, and those types of things to help them get more out of their marketing and get really strategic with what they're doing online. So it's been a really fun ride here the last 6 years working with all these different folks. And I'm a huge fitness advocate. I love the industry, have been for a long time. And it's my way of giving back without being a personal trainer or running a gym, just using my unique skill set and my team to help support these industries and help people get more healthy. So,
well, you have such a cool job. Everybody loves the, videographer and the marketing guy that makes these amazing videos. You also have now engaged into a new area, and that is an online course. Could you tell everybody a little bit about your new online course and what it's called?
absolutely. Yeah. So this is my second online course that I'm launching. My first one was to help videographers with their business setup. I've been launched that about 3 years. And this new one that we're launching is called Six Figure Fitness Filmmaker. And it's essentially the first fitness specific video business course out there to help videographers break into the fitness niche. I mentioned I'm really big on YouTube, and I've also run the largest Facebook group in the world for videographers with over 100,000 members. So I have a lot of captive audience people there that are wanting to learn more about how I've gotten into fitness, how I help gyms and those types of things. So the course basically is a lot of behind the scenes, following me around on real shoots with my clients, talking about how I script, breaking down how I shoot videos, edit them in my post-processing thing, as well as all my secret marketing tactics that everyone is probably weirded out by, but that I nerd out about because I love the marketing side of things. So it's been a really fun project so far. We launched this month actually, and there's 50 lessons in it currently, but we will be adding more as time goes on. So that's been really fun.
And how long does it take for somebody to complete the course?
Sure. If you watch it 2 times speed, you might go a little faster, but typically we break it down into a 9-week program. So people can watch in bite-sized chunks. And then we have a checklist and action item thing that people can follow along with, so they actually do the things they're doing. So I also share about my sales tactics, real recordings of sales calls I've done with clients, real behind the scenes recordings of actual projects that I'm doing, so people can use the things they're learning and apply it. But as it comes to this audience, it also isn't just for videographers. It's also great if you're a gym owner or marketing person that's trying to figure out how to shoot better, engaging fitness videos that are going to get people's attention that you can use in your marketing as well. So,
well, it's super exciting. And we will make sure that on our show notes, we will put a link on there so that if anybody is interested in your online course, they can get right to the information that directs them to the landing page.
Sure. That'd be great, Dori. Thank you.
All right, Ryan, again, thank you so much. It was so great that our paths crossed at URSA. I really hope that you are signing up for URSA 2022 in Miami, Florida this up and coming year.
I'll definitely have to consider it. There's probably going to be a lot more cool things to see with palm trees and the ocean and things like that. So I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, please do. You're such an asset to our industry, and more people need to hear what you have to say and just know Ryan SNAADT.
Awesome. Thanks, Dori. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks. Okay. Fantastic. We're done.
Cool.